Yo, check this out. I received this in the mail, right? Hello, black man. And I'm so excited about it. This is a journal to help black men articulate their feelings, express their feelings. Hell, just acknowledge that we have them in a safe and honest way. And hopefully, it will translate into other parts of your life. I get it. As a black man, a lot of us weren't encouraged or taught to talk about our feelings. As a kid, when you fail and hurt yourself, your parents told you to get up. You're a big boy. Big boys don't cry. That right there is a hard lesson to unlearn, and it's very hurtful. Because when we become older, we don't know how to express ourselves. We don't know how to talk about our feelings. We don't know how to have a conversation without lashing out or using profanity or getting upset and becoming violent because we weren't taught. But this, man, is essential. Not just to each one of us becoming a better person, but a society of men being able to express themselves is priceless. So if you want to become the best version of you that you can do, check out helloblackman.com. Grab the journal, actually journal in it, be honest, be open, and be accessible to your feelings and embrace them.
Hello, Black Man. What's going on? This is Jamie Jenkins. We're back with another episode of the Hello Black Man podcast, man. Thank y'all for joining us. I know your team either won or lost today. My team got slapped today, man. I'm a Washington fan, and we look like trash. Playing in Division 4, we played the Eagles today. Man, it was bad. We looked so bad. So, I'm done with it. Alcorn won yesterday, but also we did have a tragedy. There was a horrible accident after the game. So I just want to send my condolences to the fans and family of that young man. Lost his mom and a sister after the game. A great game Alcorn played, and then to have something tragic like that. It is one of those things that just heartfelt and we're really sensitive about just as a family. You know, Alcorn believes in the family atmosphere, and the moment I saw some of the posts, it just kind of, just really, really hurtful, really painful. So I hate that for him. Of course, we'll be reaching out. Hopefully we can contact him, see what he needs, and kind of, move forward from there. Other than that, we have a guest on today. And this young man, I've known him quite a while. We worked together for many, many years. So when I say many, that means either one of us is getting old and one of us is maybe a little older. So we worked for many, many years together at Nissan North America in the automotive industry. And I reached out to him as I was getting back into my podcast, getting back into wanting to reach out to people that have mentored me from afar and from near. He's one of the first people that I thought of. And he's one of those people that, when you get into meetings and things of that nature, that, whatever he said, it just made sense. Sometimes it was just common sense. And you always try to mimic and duplicate when you see those type of individuals, be able to speak about anything, drop of a dime, and make it make sense to no matter who's in the room, high or low, from a janitor to the VP. It will just make sense. And so I'm going to bring my guest on without further ado. This is Mr. Norris Poynter.
Good afternoon, Jimmy. How you doing, man?
What's going on? How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Been waiting on this ever since we came in contact to just give my opinion about some things and just chat and talk and see what's going on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's see, man. I probably met you. Let's see. What year did you come to Canton?
I came down in Canton on February 28th, 2003.
Hold on, man. You know the date?
I know the exact date. February the 28th, 2003.
Golly, man. And where all, I mean, you probably couldn't tell me where all you worked. Like, I guess some of the major portions of what you did in the facility, you start up from that standpoint.
Well, I came down from Tennessee. Mm-hmm. I'm from a town called Columbia, Tennessee. It's off of I-65. north, south, coming out of Alabama. If you come from Birmingham, headed to Nashville. I stayed right off that interstate in a town called Columbia, Tennessee. I worked at the plant, Smyrna plant, for 20 years. I was asked to transfer to the Canton plant in 2000. Really, they wanted me to come down in 2000, but I just couldn't make it. It wasn't the right time. And so I ended up coming down in 2003. Mainly my expertise has been in trim and chassis. I did spend a little time in supply chain in 2013, but mainly I was hired into trim and chassis as a technician in 1983.
Woo!
So you talk about one of us being old. Hey, figure that out. So no, but I'm proud of my age. I turned 65 this year.
Man, it is awesome,
good.
man.
I'm good. I'm good.
It is.
I'm good. But I spent 20 years in the Smyrna plant.
Yep.
Transferred down here in 2003 and spent 17 and a half years here in the Canton plant, and I retired in June 26, 2020.
Man, do you have these dates written down somewhere? You gotta have this written down.
I ain't got it written down, man. I ain't got it written down. I just know those dates, man. After you retire, you don't have all that stuff in your head.
Yeah.
All that work stuff in your head. So you got to fill it with something.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, man. So, like I said, you were one of those people that, when you came into a room, you demanded a certain respect. And it's one of those things that, everybody has a mystique about them, an aura about them. They have a vibe about them, one way or another. And like one of the things that people always say was like, Norris, he don't play. Like Norris, he don't play. But this is the thing. I never heard you raise your voice. I never heard you, outlandishly, talking to people, but you still held that respect. You still held a certain respect no matter what room you went into. How did you create that?
Well, I had my moments. I ain't gonna say it never happened because I'd be lying if I didn't, if I said that, But I had my moments. I always, tried to treat people with respect. And like I told you when we had the other conversation, I was a pusher. I tried to push people to get the best out of them because, I know what was above me, what kind of levels of management or what it was above me. So I tried to prepare people for that by, get them in the situation that they would understand that if you have a conversation with a VP, if you have a conversation with whoever, you're going to be prepared for that, So my philosophy was that, I got to prepare people, men, women, that want to be in the management level with whoever they come face to face with, they're able to talk to them with confidence.
That's that mentor mentality. Like I said, some people just have it. Like some people will pull people to the side, no matter who it is. If it's a janitor, a technician, section manager, VP, say, hey, this is what I'm seeing. This is what I want to see. Like you've always had that. No matter what we were doing. I remember you from when I first came a technician working night 6, night 7, those 12 hours every single weekend. A lot of those weekends you would have the DOS building, whatever they call it now. Yeah. You had it, running all night long. And so just to have that, and like I said, to demand that respect, I think that's absolutely awesome.
Well, I mean, one thing I had to notice about people, the thing about being down here, man, there's so many educated people. It was so many people at the Canton plant that had degrees. I mean, everybody, and I tell everybody up front, I don't have a degree, 12th grade education, but, I turned down a scholarship opportunity to go to University of Tennessee because I basically at that time had to go to work to deal with some family situations, when I came out of high school. Don't regret it. My life still ended up okay, but down here, with all the, HBCUs and junior colleges, a lot of people had education. And, and sometimes I wanted to push those people to say, okay, you can do this line work because you mentioned the janitor. Yeah. I was a janitor at one time.
Wow.
I was a janitor at one time. I cleaned up buildings, I cleaned up churches, that's what I did for a living. Above floors, empty trash cans, trash cans, clean stalls, whatever had to be done.
I never knew that. I'm learning something new today.
I did that. That's why I never went in a bathroom if a man was mopping.
Yeah.
Couldn't stand somebody to walk on my floor in the bathroom. So I respected that guy that cleaned that bathroom because
yeah, that's a different level of respect. You've done it.
It don't seem like much, but to that guy who's doing that bathroom, cleaning that bathroom, that's his job. If he's doing it right, you got to treat him with some respect and not go in and mess up what he just cleaned up. Don't seem like much, but to that guy doing it, you got to show him respect. Even clean the bathroom, you got to do that. And the same thing at work. I had a lot of respect from the technician because I talked to him. I went out there on the floor at all time and talked to him about
You're definitely one of the the higher ups or high level leaders that I would definitely say if I was looking for you, I would just go to your area. I wouldn't start at your desk. I wouldn't start at your office. I would go to the floor or whatever what was going on, the flavor of the day. I knew where to find you at.
Because no matter what, I mean, if you're executive, if you're a barber, if you run your own business, if you take pictures, whatever you got to do, you got to know that. You got to know your trait.
Yeah,
you got to know that trait up and down. So when you're talking to somebody who may work for you or work in the area, you got to know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
because other people are very smart. Technicians and companies are very smart, and we just found that out the last 2 years with the pandemic and how important people were. Right?
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, with the pandemic and everything going on, the worker is very important. Well, the worker's always been important. We just didn't recognize them and give them enough credit for what they did, where they was flipping burgers or mopping floors or sitting in a VP chair. That person is an important person when he don't come to work or he's not trained properly of what to do. And that's the other thing. People have to be trained, and then they got to be held accountable, and then they got to be treated like people and follow up to whatever they was trained to do. If you don't train them, how you gonna hold them accountable? If you don't talk to them, how you gonna understand them?
That's true.
I tell people all the time this story about in Smyrna, because the dynamic in Smyrna was totally different.
Yeah.
For the ratio of black to white in the Tennessee plant. So when I was a manager up there, I had to find conversation to be able to talk to people.
Yeah.
So I studied NASCAR. Understood what NASCAR was. Got me a driver. Picked Jeff Gordon as my favorite driver.
Yeah.
And every Monday coming out, I could talk about NASCAR. Football.
You had something in your pocket.
But some of the white employees, they like NASCAR.
Yeah.
They talked about NASCAR. So I had to get acquainted with NASCAR to be able to relate to some of them on conversations on Monday morning and break the ice. It was only an icebreaker, you know what I'm saying? But I had to look at some races, not all of them, because I couldn't sit there for no 2 or 3 hours and look at somebody go round and around in a circle.
Yeah.
But, I looked at it enough to understand what was going on so I could just be able to
relatable.
This relate, talk to people, talk to them. Sometimes it wasn't always pretty. Sometimes it wasn't always easy, but you just had to do it. And when people trust you, you can go a long way if they trust you.
Let me ask you this: So you when you retired, that how long did it take for you to feel retired? And then I guess what is the biggest I don't know, I guess what is the biggest misconception about retirement?
Well, the biggest misconception for retirement is that you got to be prepared for it. You really got to start in our culture, because a lot of things we don't know, hadn't been exposed to when it comes to retirement. When to buy a house, when to buy a car, when to get your kids out of college. It's a lot of things that going into your 50s and 60s that you have to be prepared for to be able to retire and not have to worry about work, not to have to worry about insurance and stuff like that. So, but it's also a mental challenge. If you worked 30, 40 years, I mean, most people who retire at 65, whatever, they've been working a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been working somewhere a long time. So mentally, you have to be prepared mentally. Some people, what they say, when I retire, I'm gonna travel. Well, you got to be financially ready to travel, and take care of your money and all that kind of stuff like
Right.
that.
That's cause you ain't gotta go to a job money don't mean you can travel the world.
Yeah, and you still got to be prepared to say, can I do nothing? If you've been in a fast paced environment all your life, you're gonna be able to say, "Can I do nothing?" Well, I did nothing for 2 months. That was
Yeah.
it. Couldn't do it. Then I had to get into some volunteer stuff,
Yeah.
and that's basically what I did. I started volunteering at MADCAP, and which is Madison County Alliance for Poverty, and Our Daily Bread, which do Meals on Wheels and feed people at the building in Canton.
What's your take on giving back? Like what's the biggest, if you could tell, what does giving back look like to you? That's what I asked. What does giving back look like to you?
Well, you know what I told you today: if you ain't giving, you ain't living.
Yeah,
and that don't mean
I like that slogan.
And that ain't money. I mean that sometimes money, sometimes time, sometimes it's listening to issues. Like tomorrow, part of what I do is, we give out food boxes in MADCAP. Tomorrow we'll do about 140 food boxes to people who need food. And right now with food price and stuff like that, it's very, very important. When I was at Our Daily Bread, we took out, to go place to people in the community. But it's about helping somebody who's less fortunate than you. Or somebody who may be fortunate you that have other issues that you might have to deal with, especially with men.
Yes.
Sometimes we can seclude ourselves as men, and we don't like to reach out because it don't look good.
It doesn't.
Just like the introductions came on and said, we wasn't taught all about the feeling thing in some cases.
Oh yeah.
How to deal with them and how to show them, everything got to be tough.
Oh, you got to be tough.
But
So
the community,
I guess from a community standpoint, do you feel like our community has improved, or I mean, I can always say we need more improvement, but would you say that giving back was it easier 30 years ago, 40 years ago, or now is it popular, or is it something we should be looking to improve? Like, I guess through the scope of time, has our community improved with giving back, or do you think it's something that has kind of fallen by the wayside?
well, the giving and volunteer, it's a tough thing for some people. I mean, I think it has to be something in your heart, because the volunteer side of it is on a volunteer basis. You're doing something for no money, but you working like you got benefits and you're getting paid, but it's all volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
And it has to be the right people. It has to be something that's in their heart. It has to be something they love, and they have to look at these communities, our communities. Like what's going on in Jackson right now with the water and the garbage and all that kind of stuff like that's going on. It takes a lot of volunteers to make that stuff happen.
Yeah.
And most of the stuff I do is in Canton, because this is close to where I live at. I stay in Madison County, but I have a Canton address, so most of the stuff I do is in Canton. So it's still, very, very important that it looks like that you got to do something. You can't do everything.
Yeah.
But you got to be able to do something that you can identify with as, I'm gonna do this to help somebody. I'm gonna do this to help somebody. And who that somebody is don't really matter. It could be white, it could be black, it could be Hispanic, female, male, don't matter.
You're being helped.
Helper. I'm gonna do something, anything. It don't matter to help somebody out during the course of a week or a month. That's basically what I got to do, and I'm gonna do it as happy as I possibly can. Because I
was gonna say attitude matters too. Like some people say they are volunteer and they get there, they're mad the whole time, upset, ready to go, fidgety, stuff like that. I've seen people volunteering, and I wish they wasn't here. Like I wish they wasn't a part of what was going on.
Yeah, because of the work, man. It's like I said, well, we're gonna go clean up a neighborhood. Well, you finna do some work. You finna go to work. You might get a bottle of water or something like that down the line. But you finna work. And a lot of people don't want to deal with that because it's no glory in that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's nobody gonna see you. There's nobody gonna post you up.
No
And say,
camera, nobody
cameras.
gonna ride by, do a big interview. Thank you so much for what you're doing.
Exactly.
Stuff
There's
like
nothing
that.
like that. And some people just don't like doing it. Now there's a lot of people who do, but there's some people who just can't deal with doing that. But we got to have more because, if you look at some of our smaller communities, man, or what, and it can be a small community within a big community. It can be, one small community inside of Jackson. Or it could be one small community inside of Canton or Memphis or anywhere back in my hometown because you got the same type of layout.
Yeah.
And based on the communication that we see on the news, is that everything comes out like a blanket. What I mean is that everything's bad, and because somebody got shot over here or something happened, everything's bad.
True. Yes.
The whole city is bad because of one little thing, and that's not right. Because within these communities where this stuff is happening, it's good people. It's good people getting up every day, going to work. It's good people getting up every Sunday, sometimes during the week, going to church, going to Bible study, doing what they got to do.
Don't bother nobody.
They bother nobody. It's good people taking care of their house, taking care of their yards, taking care of their cars. Within all these communities that these things happen in, it's great people that stay in those neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And people from the outside going, man, it's terrible over there. Well, you got good people who living in that situation that you calling terrible every day.
Yeah.
Dealing with everything that's going on, whether it's water or sewage or garbage, is good people dealing with that stuff every single day.
Yeah, I think just having a course of empathy for certain situations, not just broad, like I say, a broad paintbrush over a situation and say, hey, this is what that is, because you see that one incident. One of our viewers wants to know, talk a little bit more about MADCAP and how does one apply to MADCAP?
MADCAP is Madison County Alliance for Poverty. It's on, I don't know the address offhand, but it's like behind the Walmart in Canton. And what we do, you have to be registered. You had to bring your information up here about household income. It's very professional. Once you get registered, then you're allowed to come like once a week to get a food box. They have a clothes pantry. They have education type stuff where you can be educated on certain type parenting stuff like that. They do a lot for people at Christmas, but you got to be in the program. You just don't show up and say, okay, here it is. You have to be registered in the system to be able to be part of the system. So like tomorrow, like I said, we'll give out 144 food boxes based on the number of people we're trying to serve right now. And then the clothes pantry is open on Wednesday, where basically people come in and shop and get what they need based on shoes, clothes, whatever they basically they have in the clothes pantry. And but basically that's the somewhat of a setup that we have up here right now.
Yeah, I'm taking a look at it right now. I dropped a link, the website on the actual live that we're doing, madcaap.org. Really good looking website. Got a lot of great sponsors with Nissan, Bank Plus, Blue Cross Blue Shield. A lot of good people I know. C-Spire, the Baptist.
Yeah, it's a good organization. They do. They go out into the community and do wheelchair ramps. Fix doors, fix porches for people, especially in the Camden area, Canton area, mainly in Madison County, because that's where it's geared to in Madison County.
Gotcha. Awesome. So now what we're going to do, we're going to switch gears just a little. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you a couple questions out of this journal here. So what I like about this journal is it's a tool. And with automotive, you can have a great tool and you don't use it. It's not really helpful.
Right.
But this journal is the reason we're having this conversation. And so already it's helpful to me, learn a little more about yourself and just what you're doing and where you are in life and the accomplishments you've had. So right now the tool is working for me. Long term, this is just a conversation starter. It starts conversations with people that you may have known a long time or people you've just met, family, friends, or any loved ones. So I'm gonna ask you 3 random questions out of the Hello Black Man journal.
Okay.
And I'll let you give me your answers.
Okay.
Question 24 says, "Hello, black man. What or who motivates you? And describe how it feels to be motivated. Who motivates you?"
I mean, what motivates me is my appreciation for God and believing in Jesus. My family, being motivated, what it feel like. I mean, it just feel like being alive, you know, and that you have a purpose, and that there is a higher power, no matter what you go through, highs, lows, good, bad. You know, it's always something that's gonna make you stronger, no matter what happens. And then you got to wake up every day with a plan. You got to wake up with a plan. You got to wake up with a plan. What I'm gonna do today? I'm going to work. You know, I'm gonna take care of my family. I'm gonna take care of my church. You know, I'm gonna cut the grass. Some people ain't got grass to cut. You ride down 55 and see somebody up on the bridge. What's their best plan for that day?
That's true.
And can't judge them. Don't judge them while they're there, but just say it could be me.
Yeah.
That bridge with that shopping cart. That could be me standing on that corner asking for change because we don't know why they're there.
Yeah.
Situations cause a loss of job, mental illness with no medical insurance.
I'm gonna tell you, about 10 years ago, I was working, did some volunteer work at a homeless shelter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, family comes in, they are, you know, I guess I had in my mind what a homeless person would look like, right? So they come in, they're well dressed, well groomed, and it's a white family, and it's literally out of the 100 people there, they're the only white people there.
Yeah. And
so when they walk in the door, I'm like, maybe they're here bringing something, or you know, I don't know what they're doing. So you know, I'm just kind of prejudging, like, you know, hey, hi, what's going on? How y'all doing? They're, all right, we doing good. They come in, they signing in just like everybody else done, and so they come in to get a room. They come in to sleep, you know, to sleep for the night. And so I was just kind of, you know, I guess just prejudged, blown away. So I had to go ask them, say, hey, you know, how you doing? What's going on? You know, they're mixing and mingling with everybody, no judging. And so I just said, hey, what happened? You know, like, you know, what put you to this place? And this guy, you know, he says, listen, he says, I never thought I'd be here. You know, it's kind of like you said, you don't know what brings people to certain places. This guy, like, I never thought I'd be here. He says, I had a good job. My wife had a good job, kids in school, no problems. He said his wife had an accident with a car or something. I think she had an accident, totaled her car or messed it up where they couldn't get X amount of money back. So now they're trying to get her back and forth. He said his hours got cut at work. They got behind on his car. He said once they got behind on his car, they started taking out loans on, you know, different things they didn't have, you know, really able to pay back. And so then at that point, his wife is not working. She gets fired or whatever. So now she's not working. You know, she doesn't have the contribution that they've normally had. Kids are still consuming food, lights, gas, you know, those bills steady roll. And so basically he just said at that point they got evicted from their house, and then they got into like a hotel or something like that. They stayed with friends and family for a while. And after that, he says things just play out. You know, the money just not there. He says, you know, after you get X amount of loans, you don't have the money coming in, you can't get another loan. And you can't get, you know, you're not able to get around. So now we got one car trying to get two people around. He says it happened in about 6 months. Yeah. He says about 6 months put him into a homeless shelter. He says, right. He says 7 months ago, I would have never even crossed my mind that I would be here. And he just telling how thankful and grateful he was to be in there that night. You know, like we had some food and stuff like that. He says, man, I'm so thankful and grateful for it. So what you said really brought back some memories for that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like I said, and that should motivate you because, you know, you're not in that situation. Yeah. You know, anything that's motivated for waking up in the morning. I'm motivated because I look over there and my wife's okay, my kid's okay. You know, everything that's okay should motivate you because somebody else's situation is totally different. Mm-hmm. That happened overnight that you don't know about or you read about.
Yeah, like I said, I think people, I guess, just taking certain things for granted is so easy to do.
Yeah.
It's so easy to do. I
And
mean,
we all can fall into that trap sometimes.
absolutely. So here's your next question. It says, this is a good one here. It says, "Hello, black man. What's the most uncharacteristic thing you've ever done to impress someone? Were they impressed? Explain what you feel you would have done differently."
What's the most uncharacteristic thing? Oh man. I guess it had to be. I guess it had to be something related to some years ago. I guess that you want to get out of character. Sometimes when you meet somebody at a high level,
Mm-hmm.
and you get out of character by the way you approach them or the way you talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's really not your normal situation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm usually kind of a quiet guy, and I don't talk a lot. I have to be around you for a minute. I'm just not one of those people. Everybody's personality is different, but
Yeah.
it would have to be something where I had to come across to somebody in a different way that wasn't my normal persona.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then after I did it, I said, that ain't none of me. Acting like that, talking like that, because I'm trying to express somebody at a high level.
Yeah.
For whatever reason I thought would work. But
Yeah.
after a few years go by, you just got, like I say, you just do the job.
Yeah.
You just do the job and be yourself. If that don't get you where you need to get at with prayer, then you're not gonna get there. But
Yeah.
sometimes it's just being over pushy,
Yeah.
over talkative, overacting
Yeah.
in situations where you want to be seen.
Yeah.
Opening your mouth and talking about stuff that you don't really have a clue about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I do. I absolutely know. Absolutely, I know for sure. Yeah, I look back on questions like this and this that see most of the time it's not what I've done, it's what I shouldn't have done. I should have just,
Exactly.
it's when you like you said, you overspeak, overdo, and I say I didn't have it to do. And normally the second part of the question says explain what you feel you would have done differently. Normally the different for me is I shouldn't have done it. Not that I should have done it any differently, but I should have just not participated in in that act, or that trying to impress somebody.
Yeah, and another thing too. Sometimes when you're in high position, sometimes to get there. Sometimes you took control of the situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
No matter what it was, you took control. But after about 4 or 5 years of being in management, I realized that you had all these quiet people in the room that wasn't saying anything in some cases, but because you was being the guy, the man,
Mm-hmm.
talking and giving orders, da 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 da. But what I realized over time, those quiet people that wasn't saying anything, they had all the information. All you had to do was know how to get it. The guy that was sitting there that never said anything, he was probably the smartest guy in the room. He just couldn't talk because I was talking too much. You know what I'm saying?
I
So I
do. I understand.
learned, then you start letting your people fail. Sometimes
Yeah.
you gotta let people fail to get to the next level, because if you don't let them do it, you gotta, like I say, you gotta train them, you gotta teach them. But you gotta put a little collar on them too. You let them go so
Yeah.
far, bring them back, let them go so far.
Yeah.
But you gotta let them make mistakes to understand what mistakes is. If they never fail, they don't know what a mistake is. So you gotta let them do something related to whatever it may be, whatever the job, whatever the situation may be. You got to let people do something and not tell them what to do all the time. You got to
Mm-hmm.
let them be who they are. You got to let them be who they are. And that was, because I was new too. So some of my first years of doing stuff like that, I had to be the man. But
Yeah.
then when you being the man, you messing up. And after a while, you learn is that, well, I ain't got to be the man. I just got to be me and let everybody else be them. And then
Yeah.
together we'll be the man or the
Yeah.
women. You know what I'm saying?
I hopefully I have some leaders tuning in, checking this out. You giving some really big nuggets here today, because especially when you get promoted into a position, the title can sometimes a title can consume you. You know, you say I have this title, I have to act a certain way, or I can't be myself because I made it to this level. But the people that enjoy doing their job, normally they're just themselves, no matter if they're a technician or a VP.
Yeah, and they just gotta know, whatever your trade is, I don't care what it is, you just gotta know it better than anybody else. You need to know it better than anybody else. So can't anybody come in and tell you anything about your business. If you run a barbershop, you know that barbershop like the back of your hand. You know every barber, you know every chair, you know every sink, you know everything about your barbershop, and there can't nobody come in your barbershop and tell you nothing about your barbershop because you know it. Heads down, you know every barber, you know what they can do good, you know what they can do bad, you know everything. Same about in the business. If you're a lawyer, you know your law firm, you know it up and down, you know everybody in your law firm, you know what their weaknesses are, you know what their strengths are, you know how to coach them up, you know how to build them up, you know how to motivate them.
Oh
So
yeah,
whatever you involved with, you just know your business, and no John Doe can walk in and say, "Hey Jamie, what's going on over there?" And ain't nothing going on over there because I just talked to the guy and we
yeah,
okay. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So you just have to be in depth of whatever whatever your business may be or whatever you may be in, church, volunteer work, whatever it is. You just got to know detail of what you're doing and put the work into it to understand what's going on.
I agree. Let me ask you this real quick. When you talk about being advice, and like I say, I've always considered you a mentor. I've never worked directly for you. You know, I've done things around, but I've never directly worked for you. 18 years I was at Nissan.
I tried to get you up here, you never want to come.
Don't do that. Don't say that.
I know, I'm
Don't say
messing.
that. But I'm gonna tell you what you did do. You spoke me back to trim. Now you did do that.
I didn't have nothing to do with that. I promise you. I did.
Seriously, now, no, you can tell me now. Well, ain't neither of us at Nissan no more. You can tell me now.
I promise you, I didn't have anything to do with it. But when you're talking about filling positions and you're talking about good people name come up. That's all I can say.
No,
so if you're good people,
left trim. I went to Fascia. I went to LCV, and literally for 6 years, and we didn't see each other a whole lot. But for those years that I was away, you always told me, you'll be back. You got to come back.
Life's a circle, man. Life's a circle. It's gonna always come back.
Like, come back for what? I've been gone as long as I was there. You got to come back now.
You was in the honey hole. You need to come back to.
What's the biggest? What's the best piece of advice? What's the best piece of advice somebody has given you from a leadership standpoint? Somebody that just talked to you and said, "Hey, these few words," or somebody that you could really watch and made a difference in your leadership career. Who was that, and what did they say?
I guess I don't know if you remember a guy named Greg Daniels. You remember Greg Daniels?
No, I just know the name. I never met Greg.
He was one of the first, well, really for a long time, black VP at the Smyrna plant. Now Greg was totally calm, totally cool, didn't get excited, didn't raise his voice, no matter what. The building can be burning down. Greg, it ain't gonna phase him. He's gonna still remain, in his character all the time. So, everybody got a different personality. So I tried to get some of that in especially difficult situations, because you got to remain calm when things look bad, because you got people looking at you for the decision, and you can't be freaking out when things are going bad. So his calmness. And then I had another guy. I had a really good manager one time in Smyrna. They wanted to move him, and I was throwing a fit. I didn't want to move this guy because he was one of my better guys, right? Mm-hmm. And my boss looked at me and he said, "Look here, man, this is way bigger than you." I said, "What you mean?" He said, "This is way bigger than you." He said, "Me moving this guy to another area is going to get this plant running better.
Yeah.
So this plant running better is bigger than you want to keep him over here with you so you can run good in your little area.
Yeah.
So this is bigger than you. This is a plant need instead of a Norris need. You know what I'm saying? So I was trying to keep this guy for myself because I promoted him, you know. He told me, "Quite no, this is bigger than you, man."
Yeah.
So sometimes things are bigger than you that you gotta let go of.
Yeah.
You can't keep everything to yourself. So you want to train people so they can go to different places, and do better work and get promoted, make more money, be more satisfied, whatever their motivation is, because it's different motivation. It ain't always money, it ain't always promotions. Sometimes it's the way they treat it that that they can be able to learn and go to someplace else and sometimes be more successful in the place that they were, but they did learn something at the place they was at. They was able to take some things to another location and improve on their situation once they got there. So I would say, those two things, calmness and basically learning that it ain't all about me all the time as a manager, supervisor, whatever I may be, manager at the time. That it ain't always about you. You gotta get your people ready to move to be better.
I like it. I got one more question from the journal, Norris. It says, "Hello, black man. Are you physically fit? What are your fitness goals? Have you had a physical? If not, schedule one and write down the results." How are you doing physically right now?
I feel pretty good for a 65-year-old man.
Mm-hmm.
I take some medication for different things, but that's part of it. I let God do His work and make the doctors look good. But I go every year and have my wellness. I've had cancer twice. And that made the doctors look good 2 times by having it cured. That's the way I put it. God makes the doctors look good.
I like that. I like that. I hadn't heard it put that way.
You got to go. You can't not say I'm not going to the doctor. I just say, God created doctors, and you go to them, and God makes them look good.
I guess it's another thing that in our community, especially black men, we don't go until it's you have to go. Like it's a need. You almost at a point of no return sometimes when a lot of us go to doctors.
Well, if I hadn't been going to the doctors, I had prostate cancer, right? I had prostate cancer in late 2007. Took them 2 or 3 months to figure out what was going on with me. Figured out in about December 2007. I had surgery in 2008. But that was basically because I was going to a doctor and I had a doctor. That's a good thing about insurance. That's so important to everybody, especially black men and black women, that, we got to have insurance of some type to be able to go to doctors to get checked out yearly, dentists and eye doctors. I mean, we need all that, and, we hear candidates talk about healthcare, but man, it is super important that, we go to the doctor because we have a lot of issues within our race, high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, the story of it. We got to go to the doctor.
Oh, yeah.
And especially black men. And then sometimes then we don't know our history. Like with prostate cancer. Usually prostate cancer is in your family somewhere down the line. But sometimes we don't know what granddaddy died of.
Yeah.
We don't know what great-granddaddy died of, because we stayed in the country and didn't go to the doctor. So we don't know some of the medical history that's in our family. But, that means that we just need to go and get our physicals every year.
True.
Eyes checked and ears checked, everything that we can, and to make sure that, we have decent health. And then, try to eat right, which is difficult. But, you got to do the best you can because, the food is just too good, man. It's hard to walk by it, especially if you tailgating or something, man. It's hard to walk by them grills, man.
I got a couple quick, like a little rapid fire questions. What was your first car?
A 1974 Pontiac.
74 Pontiac.
Yeah.
You was in high school, college?
I was out of high school. I had graduated and got a job, but it was a 74 Pontiac Green Le Mans.
74 Pontiac Green Le Mans.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. Do you feel like you're turning? Have you turned into your parents? Did you turn into your mom or dad? Like as you grew older, you said, hey, you know what? This is exactly what they would have said.
Well, my dad was. I guess my giving comes from my dad, man,
Mm-hmm.
because he was just that type of guy, man. He was just, he worked at a furniture store back in the '60s and '70s, and he learned how to repair watches in the military, World War One or two, one of them. And
Mm-hmm.
he was a good repairman at cuckoo clocks. That's what he was good at, repairing cuckoo clocks.
Hmm.
And, but the thing about it, he used to fix the people's watches back in the neighborhood. And he'd work on for 2 or 3 days, put the part on, and he would charge him $1. He'd charge him $2. And I'm going like, man, I need some tennis shoes, man. You know what I mean?
So that ain't gonna get it, Dad.
You ain't gonna get it, but they were just his heart. He was just a giver, and then now I say, okay, I guess I got the same heart too, because basically, I like to try to help people out. But my mom died early. I had a brother that got killed in a hit and run type situation,
Mm-hmm.
and I tell people this, that death can cause death, because after my brother got killed, he was 18, I was 14, and my mother was 42. She never got over it. I mean, she, basically what you call, she grieved to death. 3 months. 3 months she was dead, just because of what
Wow.
happened to my brother. And that's what I try to tell people: when somebody has a death in the family, you really have to look over the person who's still alive. You know what I'm saying? You can't, the
Yeah.
person who's dead, yeah, you feel bad and you feel sorry, and you grieve for that person who's just passed away. But you
Right.
really got to keep your eye on that person who's living, like the mother, son, husband, wife,
Yep.
sister, brother. Those people, especially if they've been together a long time, you really have to keep your eye on them and make sure that they just don't get in that downspin of depression when that
Gotcha.
loved one is gone. And that's basically what happened to my mom. Is that once my brother got killed, she never got over it. She came from the funeral, got in the bed, got up to eat every once in a while, take a bath every once in a while, but basically she died in the bed exactly 3 months after my brother got killed.
Wow.
And I was only 14, so you know, I know she was tough. She didn't play. I know that.
Wow. Mr. Norris Poynter, what's next for you? What's next? What all you got coming up? What you got? I know you got some volunteering and things and stuff you do in the community, but what's your next plan for the next 3 months, 6 months?
Yeah, I attend a church in Canton called Ark of Safety. Pastor John Woodard. I don't know if you ever heard of him. He's a very dynamic preacher guy. He's a good guy. Excellent first lady wife. He has 3 kids. Really, really dynamic speaker at Ark of Safety right there in Canton.
Okay.
So within the last month, we've started something with the youth of the church called Men of Valor, where we're going to be doing kind of some of the stuff like what you're doing in your organization. Is that bringing in speakers? You may be one somewhere down the line.
Okay.
Talking to the youth, showing them different stuff, getting them opportunities, supporting them. We have some athletes in there, but we also have musicians. We also have, kids that can draw, and we gotta showcase these talents that these kids have,
Mm-hmm. True.
and support them, within the church. Because I still think, me personally, I think the church, the Black church, and the community is very important. I think that is still a rock solid foundation within the community to still have those churches within the community. Whether it's whatever neighborhood it may be, whatever town it may be, the Black church is still important. So that's what we're working on right now. The next step, still be doing my volunteer stuff, still doing my family stuff, but mainly this new project we got coming up. And right now we're collecting water. We're gonna take some. I think we got a nursing home in Jackson. We're gonna be taking some water down this weekend, because we know we still have some needs, although things have gotten better. We know there are some isolated situations in Jackson that may still need, bottled water. So we're trying
Oh, yeah.
to collecting water right now. So we're going to take it down to a nursing facility in Jackson, I think, probably this Saturday. I'm not sure which one yet. They coming up with when they're going to do, but basically that's the next steps. And, it's always stuff turning in my mind about, what I like to do, but, I just got to take slow steps and basically see what can be done.
I like it. Mr. Norris Poynter, I thank you for your time. I appreciate you. I learned some stuff about you. And like I said, just the similarities of stories and memories and things of that nature, I think is absolutely phenomenal. Make sure you drop me your address through our, how we've been messaging back and forth.
Yeah.
I got to get you a shirt, get you a journal, get you started journal. But I thank you for your time. I appreciate you being a part of the Hello Black Man podcast today.
Man, I enjoyed it, man. I'll be following y'all closely.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it was Mr. Norris Poynter. I had an opportunity to work with him for years at Nissan, years and years at Nissan. Like I said, one of those guys I never worked directly for, but he brought value. Every single day, it was something he was teaching somebody something. If he was talking to somebody, people would just kind of gravitate to the conversation because you knew he was adding value to their situation, and you could take it and use it for yourself. Just one of those people that you just value being around, value the wisdom, knowledge, and the understanding that he normally brought to any situation. But I thank you all for tuning in. I'm gonna tell y'all something. Don't listen. We just got approved for stars on the Hello Black Man podcast. So now you can send us 10 cents, 20 cents, 50 cents, $1 and stuff like that when we're doing these live broadcasts and stuff like that. So we are now approved for stars. We've been working so hard, I guess, on the scene where you see us behind the scenes to get the followers and the people tuned into it. But this is what we're about, transparency, communication. I thank y'all for following us. Thank y'all for tuning in. Give us a share. Make sure if you're on the page, hit the community button, and you can invite some of your friends to be our friends. We're one big happy family. Thank y'all for tuning in. Hello, Black Man. We're out.